Good morning, wrestling fans. November 8th. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Welcome to this Wednesday episode of Good Morning, Wrestling Fans. Sorry, everyone, that I didn't do a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic last night, going over NXT. But the reason I did not, just accidentally spilled some coffee on my arm now. And as usual, I can't talk. But the reason I didn't do 360 Wrestling Fanatic last night was because my voice, I'm sure as you can tell now, once again, did not sound good at all. And I was coughing a whole bunch last night. And I didn't want to have to record and have to keep pausing the recording while I kept coughing. But the reason I am now, though, is because I wanted to keep my streak going of having a new episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans every day, which is, I think, right now the only one that I haven't missed an episode of yet. Other than Anything Goes, I haven't missed one, but that's been hasn't been around too long yet. And on this episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans, I'm gonna preview tonight's AEW Dynamite. But first, I'm gonna talk about TKO real quick. That is now the new parent company of WWE and UFC. Yesterday they had their shareholders meeting, and one of the things I have seen that come from it, probably one of the biggest stories, is that next year in 2024 NXT is leaving USA and going to the CW. Now, this has been reported that SmackDown leaving Fox, going to USA, that NXT probably would be leaving USA, and that is now officially confirmed, going to the CW. What does this mean for the WOW superhero show Women of Wrestling? I believe is exclusively on their app, so maybe they could keep it there while they have NXT on. And what does this mean for the deal that was recently announced by the NWA to take Power and the reality show they were filming? But that is in question now. In case you haven't heard, the other day it came out that the last NWA pay-per-view, they showed the Sinister Minister, Father James Mitchell, in kind of like a skybox with some lady, and it looked like they were doing drugs in there. So apparently CW got word of that, and not quite sure if they ended the deal or not. But now with this news of NXT, of course, if you're a long-time wrestling fan, you know WWE has been on the CW before with Friday Night SmackDown, and there was even one time if you remember, they had this show, Saturday Morning Slam, which was aimed more for kids, which came on Saturday mornings around like 10 a.m. or 10:30, something like that. Which I know a lot of hardcore wrestling fans might look at it, oh, that's for kids. But actually, I remember there being some actually pretty good matches on there. And yes, sometimes you would get a comedy match, but they were actually pretty good matches that you would see on there. I could be wrong, but I don't think they have any episodes of Saturday Morning Slam on the WWE Network or Peacock, wherever you are. Or at least, not that I know of anyway. And now, let's go on over and talk about tonight's AEW Dynamite on TBS, live at 8 p.m. Eastern from Portland, Oregon. And Swerve Strickland will be taking on one half of the Lucha Brothers, Penta El Zero Miedo. That should be a good match right there. And Julia Hart will be in action, taking on someone who actually hasn't been on AEW television in quite a while. The return of Red Velvet. We have not seen her on AEW television since, actually, I don't remember when. And Switchblade Jay White will be taking on Mark Briscoe. That should be another good one. Samoa Joe will be defending the Ring of Honor World Television Championship against Limitless Keith Lee. That should be another one. What was it Big E started? And a lot of the fans say now, big meaty men slapping meat, is it? That's definitely two big men going at it. And the AEW World Champion and one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, will defend the AEW World Championship against Daniel Garcia, which, of course, with Full Gear coming up a week from this Saturday, I believe, I definitely don't see a title change happening tonight, but I'm sure they'll have a good match tonight. And that is all for this episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Thank you everyone for tuning in on this Wednesday morning. Hope everyone is having a fantastic morning so far. I hope to have a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic tonight to talk all about Dynamite. And we'll be back tomorrow for the Thursday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Hopefully tonight I can make it through the episode without coughing like I did this morning, which is the reason I'm talking slower than I normally do, is so hopefully I won't start coughing a bunch of times. And like I said, I didn't want to miss an episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. So far, I have a streak going. I haven't missed one yet. So I actually do feel a cough coming on now, so I better wrap up the podcast now. And I will talk to everyone tomorrow morning for the Thursday episode of GMWF. Thank you for tuning in today. And until then, have a great pro wrestling day.